Good morning, Mr Newman. My name's James. I'm the school captain. Welcome to Irish College, Ashgrove.
Oh, thank you, James. Very much, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lee.
G'day, Lee. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Archie.
Hi, Archie. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming today, Mr Newman. We would love to sit down and find out a bit more about yourself.
Oh, thanks. That'd be great. Thank you, Archie.
Mr Newman, have you ever lived in Brisbane before?
Yes, Archie. Once I was on the leadership team at St Joseph's Nudgee College, and I was assistant principal identity there. So I did live in Brisbane for 5 years, and I lived at Clayfield, around that area. It was really enjoyable.
What do you like to do in your spare time?
In my spare time, when I really wind down a bit, I've always been interested in education, so I like reading educational journals. But I am a bit of a reader. I enjoy reading. Most recently, I've read a book by Alistair Campbell. He used to be, I think, an advisor to Tony Blair in England. And he wrote about a book called Winners and Successful People, and or how they achieve success. And I think in his book he had people like Hillary Clinton and Obama and Nelson Mandela, people like that. The reason I read the book is because one of the chapters was about Jonathan Thurston being a successful person, because he actually went to St Mary's Toowoomba, the school I've come from. So I'm really interested in that, and I was telling the boys about it. So it's a really interesting book about succeeding and how you keep striving. Yeah, so that's fascinating. Also, I do like sports, so I do enjoy sports as well.
What's your favourite band or song?
Favourite band or song? Well, I have lots of favourite bands and lots of songs I like. I do like music. I suppose the best way to answer that may be that when I was in year 12, I was a boarder at St Joseph's in Hunters Hill in Sydney, and when I was in year 12, they gave us, when we were 18, they gave us a night off. So in those days, you used to open the paper and there'd be about 8 pages of bands that you could go and see at different pubs. So myself and one of my mates chose a band that we knew had a new single. It was called Stay Young, the single. So we went along to see this band, and there was about 30 people there. There was hardly anyone there. And we really enjoyed the band, and they were great. And on the drum kit, but we couldn't quite pronounce their name, but on the drum kit was INXS. So that was one of the first bands that I saw that I really enjoyed, in excess.
When and why did you decide to work in education?
When I finished my studies, finished school, and I did my HSC, I had no idea what I wanted to do when I left school, which is, I imagine a lot of boys are like that. And my dad picked up my HSC results and he went, "Oh, economics, 95%, you go and do an economics degree." So that's what I did. I went to uni and did an economics degree, and after about a year, Lee, I thought, I think I want to be a teacher, so that I started doing an economics and education degree. So that's sort of how it happened. And once I did pracs and got into schools, I really enjoyed it very much. Why? I think it's a great job being a teacher. It's such a privilege to be with young people and to be able to inspire them and assist them to achieve their dreams. It's just great. I really enjoy being a teacher.
What sort of head of college do you aspire to be?
Very good question, Lee. I think for myself, I want to be able to provide as many opportunities to boys as I can at this college. That would be my aspiration. So I think being able to give students the opportunity to achieve what they want to is what I would aspire to be.
As the head of college, people come to you for advice and wisdom. What is the best piece of advice that you have been given? Another
good question, Lee. I would say the best advice I would probably be given would be from my parents. My parents talk about it's really important to try, and if you keep trying, you can achieve anything. I think that's an important thing, I think, to live with, to keep trying and be resilient and stick at things, you know, and never give up. I think that's really important qualities that certainly my parents taught me.
Mr Newman, how are you going to set up the students to achieve their personal best?
Well, I really am on about achieving your personal bests in all areas of an education. So I think that holistic sense is really important. So whether it's achieving your best academically or spiritually or culturally or sporting wise or just getting on with other people, like the social aspect, I think it's really important that you achieve your best and achieve excellence as much as you can and really strive to to get the most out of things. So for me, it's about providing and making sure those opportunities are there for boys to be able to do that, to be able to get to that excellence or to get to that goal that they're after. I think that's a really important thing.
To come into a school that is highly successful on multiple levels, that's a challenge within itself. So what are the immediate challenges that you're going to face?
Well, I think, in today's world and with students that I know, trying to get people to try to achieve their best and to strive for excellence, I suppose the other side of that can be sort of only working at a mediocre level or not achieving your best. So the biggest challenge I think for all educators is making sure that students really try hard in all things and just don't give up and show great resilience. I was watching that Michael Jordan documentary at the moment on Netflix. You've been watching that? The Last Dance? It's great. And one of the things I really liked about Michael Jordan, he was talking about, I'm okay with failure because we all fail sometimes, but I'm not okay with not trying. And I think that's a great motto, So for me, it's a challenge to make sure that we're always trying, and even if we're not going to succeed, we're still, giving our best shot at things. And I think that, to me, is what is the biggest challenge these days.
So, Mr Newman, why is Marist in safe hands with you?
Okay, James, good question. Well, when I see the word Marist, I think of Mary and I think of Marcel and Champagne. And for myself, Marcel and Champagne has always been somebody who I've really enjoyed hearing his story, and he's inspired me. I mean, his story about seeing a poor boy in the countryside in France, and he was dying and he was giving him the last rites, and his heart was turned because he didn't know anything about God and he didn't have an education. So he did something about it. And your motto is all about that, isn't it? That strong mind, gentle heart. He had a gentle heart he really felt for this guy, this young boy, but strong mind. Then he took off, and I've been to France actually where the Hermitage is, and he's built this amazingly huge building with a few brothers himself. It's incredible, in the side of a rock face. I mean, he must have been strong and must have been so dedicated and so committed to the cause. So I suppose that sort of drive is what drives me a bit. I'm really interested in making sure people have education. I believe education is liberating, and I believe in having a kind, good heart and to be strong in the mind. I think that's really key. And so I hope in having Champagne as a role model for myself, that I can make that exhume into the whole school here at Ashgrove Marist as well, which I'm sure it does anyway. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr Newman. It was great to finally meet you.
Well, thank you, James, very much. And Lee, thank you. And Archie, thank you. Thank you for your welcome. It's great to be here at Marist, Ashgrove. I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to be the head of the school. And I wish you all the best too, particularly yourself, James, going into Year 12. And I look forward to seeing Lee and Archie around the place. Thank you.